Welcome to a portion of Hiveswap's presentation at LudoNarraCon by Fellow Traveler. I'm Kate Mitchell. You can find me on Twitter at Gamblignant8. I'm a Homestuck fan, podcast creator, content creator. I guess that's the word that we use to describe ourselves now. And I'm here to interview Aysha U, Farah, part of the writing team of Hiveswap and Hiveswap Friendsim. How you doing, Aysha?
Yes. I'm doing okay. Didn't get much sleep. I feel like I begin every interview I do with that.
It's just as a quick update, here's how tired I am. But obviously you had a lot of reason to be excited. As this is being broadcast, just yesterday, Hiveswap Act II was announced, which is sort of a long-awaited thing, and I know personally I'm very excited.
Yes, me too. Act 2 has been making me tired for months, so it's really nice that now it can make everybody else tired.
And so it's sort of before Act 2 was announced, there was something that was a sort of a transitional, like the cartilaginous connective tissue between Act 1 and Act 2.
Yep.
It's very ligamental. And
I had my start in the tissue of Hiveswap, in fact.
Yeah. Just rooting around in there. And so talk to me about Hiveswap Friendsim. When did the concept start? Like, basically, my question is Hiveswap Friendsim. Why?
Well, it started back when Act 2 development was still going on before the hiatus. And it sounded cool, but I wasn't a part of it. I was just staff writing for Act 2 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then production got shut down. So we were all like, wow, well, what do we do now? But then we're like, might as well go forward with the Hiveswap Friendsim. And through kind of like a staffing kerfuffle, I kind of ended up by accident in charge of that.
It's like the Secretary of Agriculture becoming president in
exactly.
that one TV show about the State of the Union getting. Man, this is a bad metaphor.
We are already in the weeds. This is what happens when you and I literally do anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is my like fifth time interviewing you at this point, and we've established the basic facts. But if this is your first time engaging, if this is your introduction to Aysha, like, so you've been a writer for a while, but you're new to the Homestuck space comparatively. Like, you weren't here 11 years ago for Problem Sleuth because you weren't like an internet forum loser like me.
No, I mean, I was definitely an internet loser, but I was in a different place.
Yeah.
And Homestuck to me was like the thing that all my friends vanished into, and I was like, this looks bad.
So once they go in, they never come out.
Yeah, I was like, this is like literally indecipherable. So I was like, not doing that, and that lasted until 2015, when I finally was convinced to read it by Lalo Hunt and CL Kyle, two other Friendsim writers, and I had kind of put it off reading it because I had this like almost ominous, fortuitous feeling that it was going to eat my life. I could just feel it.
You just knew it. It has got that sort of gravitational
like
attraction to it.
Yeah, like Bull Deer, I could see the future. And I knew that it was going to consume me, but if I had only known to the extent, not only would it consume my brain, it would consume my career.
And so with the development of Hiveswap Act II on hold, this concept of creating a lighter, more to just disappear into corporate terminology, a more agile kind of development situation. You guys looked into creating visual novels. And what was for you, like, what's your experience with visual novels? Like, do you have any favorites, or were you experienced in the genre before, or were you first dipping your toes in with Friendsim?
I have never written for one before. I have actually never written for a video game before Hiveswap, so the beginning of this was just me pretending to know what I was doing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And every time anyone would say anything, I'd be like, yeah, of course. And then I'd Google what that meant. And it was pretty much like 6 months of that with Friendsim too. Like now I know how to make a visual novel, but to start out, I absolutely didn't. And I played like 3 or 4 visual novels. Some of them I probably can't name on stream.
That's fair.
But I really like, one of my favorites is Hustle Cat, which I think was put out by Date Nighto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you date people at a coffee shop who turn into cats sometimes. It's less weird than it sounds. It's very good. You should play it.
I feel like visual novels come in 2 categories, which is extremely less weird than they sound or extremely more weird than they sound.
I think that's true. I think that, though, I don't know, Friendsim might be as weird as it sounds.
Friendsim is pretty weird. I think if you pulled out a bullet point list of what happens in Hiveswap Friendsim, like, you know, I don't want to spoil specifics for those who haven't picked up the game yet, and Volume 1's only 99 cents, so it's a pretty low barrier to getting involved. But you do, like, right away kill someone with your ass.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to write. I was gonna write one for Volume 2, and Andrew gave me his volumes that he'd written, and I was reading it, and I was just like, wow, I guess I can go a lot harder than I thought I could, because these begin with like some interesting scenarios. So then I was like, I can do more murder than I was expecting, so let's do that.
Yeah.
So my first was a murder child. So
to be fair, I think, you know, sort of the house style of Homestuck is just sort of constant murder,
constant child death.
the
Yeah,
constant child. Basically everyone gets killed like about 9 or 10 times. Just rough estimate.
Steam has, about halfway through production, Steam implemented this new requirement where you had to very specifically list content details.
Mm-hmm.
And man, responding to the content, like, does this have gratuitous violence? Yes. Gratuitous blood? Yes. Death of innocents? Yes. Death of bystanders? Yeah. Yes. It was just like, oh boy. What did we do?
This is a pretty wild thing. So what's the concept? What's the story of Hiveswap Friendsim for those who haven't played it yet?
So the story, which I think is kind of wild, because you can come into Friendsim not only not having read Homestuck, but not having played Hiveswap Act 1. So it's just, you are someone who has crash landed on an alien planet, Alternia, and you don't know you don't know how you got there, you don't know anybody. All you know is that you are desperate for friendship. That's all you crave is friends. And this follows our dear friend MSPA reader, or protagonist reader. They go by many names.
That friend-shaped orb.
That great friend, just shaped like a friend. Yeah.
And you can see MSPA reader here on the game's title screen.
Yeah, they're not doing well.
I mean, they just totally beefed it into the ground here.
Get used to that.
Yeah. The first thing they see is this charming woman on this billboard.
I mean, she looks great. She's probably very friendly.
Yeah. Right. The first possible
what's not
friend.
Friendly about capitalism?
Yeah, exactly. She's got what's the story here? What's this beverage that the heiress Trizza is hawking on this billboard?
I actually don't know her beverage. I hope it's Faygo, but it's probably not. She probably doesn't have anything to do with Faygo. It's probably some very fruity sports drink, is what I had to predict. Probably fuchsia colored.
Yeah, that makes sense. So she's sort of profiting off the. So for those who aren't familiar, because again, Friendsim can actually be your introduction to the Homestuck universe. It prepares you for precisely the amount of weirdness that's going on here. So Alternia is a planet in another universe.
It's a hellscape.
It's a hellscape, yeah, right. I mean, but you know, whose planet isn't? It's a planet in another universe.
Here's one of the underlying themes of Friends.
Yeah, right. where
we live in a society.
we do. We absolutely live in a society, and it says Friendsim says a lot about society. But it's an alien society, populated entirely by teenagers, basically. Because once you hit a certain age, like 20 or something, you get shipped off to space to fight in an endless space war. And so the planet is basically just like the worst parts of being a teen online and in real life combined with like additional murder, freaky biotechnology, and a massive like caste-based discrimination system.
Right. So it's like, what if you had a planet where you just put a bunch of teenagers into one place, told some of them that they're better than others just by virtue of who they are. Nobody has a job. Nobody has anything to do. All their needs are taken care of in theory. And it's like, go for it.
This sounds a lot like Tumblr.
Poked on my own spit. Okay, yeah. So it's basically go for it, and Alternia is what you get.
Yeah, it's a planet-wide Lord of the Flies style battle royale.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then this Friendsim is just your friendly MSPA reader, just their journey through Alternia.
Yeah, the improbable story of an amorphous friend-shaped being making friends with just one neighborhood of Alternia's weirdest and wildest trolls.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of incredibly interesting archetypes. I'm just going to scroll through here. With no job but a lot of societal pressure, everyone sort of settles into this niche.
They all become like influencers. Like half of them are some sort of artist.
Yeah. And I mean, it's Sarava and like Volume 2, which was your first contribution to Friendsim, with Amizia is always, they're both artists. Like Amizia is a painter, and Sarava is a musician and streamer. You get cowboys, you get assassins, you get lesbians.
That's an important niche.
Yeah, the three genders, cowboys, assassins, and lesbians.
Yes. And then you get Connell, the lesbian assassin. Well, I guess she's not a lesbian.
Yeah.
But,
the Woola assassin.
Which assassin?
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that I think is a like great reason to like jump into Hiveswap Friendsim if you don't know is like it's just a like pansexual alien world with a not very strict gender binary where basically there's no straight characters. And there's a ton of like really authentic and affecting like queer relationship content in this game. Again, it's not a dating sim, it's a friendship simulator, but you see relationships between your friends evolve and grow over the course of the game.
Yes. So yeah, definitely if you're looking for some gay stuff, I gotcha.
Yeah. There's just gay stuff all over the place in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. So for you, like, you went from reading Homestuck, like liking it, being a fan, having it sort of colonize your brain in the way that Homestuck does. Like, it's a machine that like it's a parasite that lodges in your brain and replaces all your normal thoughts with Homestuck thoughts.
Exactly.
Like eventually, like a few, a few months after engaging with Homestuck for the first time, you're like just crossing the street, and instead of like looking both ways, you're thinking about Vriska.
Yeah, I mean that still happens.
Yeah, it's not a death sentence, but it is a life sentence.
That's true.
You will never escape.
Yeah, you're here forever.
Yeah,
Vriska.
So on this this stream, I wanted to take a look at one of the routes that you wrote, and one of my favorite routes overall, which is Boldir Lamati, in Volume 13. And again, like, while there is a story that develops over the course of the game, there's not what I would say major spoilers until the very, very end.
Right.
And like, you know, if you play the volumes in order, you get a lot of like nice relationship developments and like clever references and stuff. And, you know, trolls that you met before come back and it's a like, oh, hey, look, it's that guy. Or in the case of Zebra, it's like, oh, hey, look, it's that guy.
That guy, he's on a Segway.
Yeah, he's on a Segway.
This time he's got a Segway.
And so, like, originally, the first few volumes of this game are these just, like, vignettes. They're just, like, a little character exploration where you meet this character, you find out what their damage is, and you become friends with them.
Right.
But over the course of the game, the plot gets more involved and more detailed, and the routes start referencing each other much more. And I always felt like this route with Boldir was, like, the turning point where all those little threads tying things together turned into this thing where you're like, oh, there's something big happening here.
Yeah, I mean, before, like, at first we did the first few volumes and I was like, this is fun. Fun is fun, but like, I went to Andrew and I was like, is this going somewhere? Because if it's just, like, if we just, you know, retcon back to the beginning every time, or if there's no building story, it's going to get really boring really fast. There's only so many times you can watch this guy kill someone with their ass.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a lot of times because that's really entertaining.
Right. And I've always been a prose writer. I write short stories and novels originally, so I always want to tell a narrative. It's like just how my brain works. And I think that's what makes games interesting. So
yeah, absolutely.
In visual novels, obviously.
Right. In a visual novel, like the only gameplay loop is reading, right? Like the reward for playing the game is reading more. Exactly. Instead of shooting at things or, you know, lining up blocks, like the reward is figuring out the plot. Like the gameplay is a funny little miracle that happens inside your head.
Exactly.
So let's take a so each volume has an introduction. Oh, Stelsa, I love you. This one's not about you, but I do love you. And so, you know, with each volume you get the choice of multiple, like, 2 trolls to meet. And you can play either one in either order, and some of the routes, like, on the same volume do actually reference each other or, like, contain, you know, the same characters or some, like, alternate views of the same plot point. When you were working on a volume, you know, every time it was 2 different writers writing the 2 trolls. Was there, like, what's the process of that? Was there any sort of, like, did you guys share outlines with each other before embarking on the full writing process?
I think more towards the end we did. In the beginning, it was very just like, let's make sure that we are starting from the same point, kind of, because there's an intro. Usually there's a longer intro. I think one for this one is just blah, 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 friendship, blah.
Yeah.
It's usually, like, a lot longer. And we have the same one for each. So we would have to kind of collaborate on that. Towards the end, I got more control freaky with everybody's scripts because I wanted to start kind of moving towards trajectory. And actually with Boldir's route, it's when we were basically like, okay, this is what we're doing now. I kind of know where this is going, so let's aim for that.
Yeah. This was like the moment. And there's like a summary here at the start that is a nod to, like, the connections that you've made so far. And, like, again, this is a game where there's no, you know, you don't, like, get a key in your inventory and then walk over to a door and use it to open, right? But you still have an inventory, right? In the sense of you have possessions that you were given by the friends that you've already made that are then used.
Maybe the real achievements for the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. And I think about this a lot because in, you know, again, like, we're talking, like, the theme of this whole con is, like, you know, Ludo narrative. Like, how do we communicate gameplay with the narrative, right? And although you're not literally, like, pressing a button to pull up your phone and text your friend in this game, like, acquiring objects and acquiring new methods of interacting with the game world in the narrative text provides the player with a similar feeling of progression to leveling up in a more traditional game and finding new ways to interact with the game world that way. In a sense, it's almost like providing the illusion of gameplay.
Yeah. And I think that to a certain extent, like, I was well served for having never written a video game before, because I didn't know how you're supposed to do it.
Uh-huh.
So I just kind of wrote it like, so it comes out, I think we all mostly were like prose writers.
Mm-hmm.
So we all just like wrote it like we were just writing anything, and it comes out, I think, feeling kind of original.
Yeah. Well, and there's also a way that it sort of is a thematic echo of Homestuck, in that Homestuck is also presented as a game that you, the reader, are playing. Like, everything was on the old MS Paint Adventures site, right? Like, the theme of that site was various games, quote unquote, that you are playing and participating in by reading the narrative. And so a lot of the tools of, like, over the course of Homestuck, like, the characters get cool items that let them do cool things. And that feels good to you as a reader in a way that I think is, like, very video gamey.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, there she is.
I love this song.
Old Secret?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out James Roach. One of the best tracks on the album.
Yeah, this is my favorite song from the game. If you're watching this stream, I don't actually know what order it's going in, but James is either on before or after this, and is such a great guy and such a great musician. He did almost all the music for this game.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much all the tracks for this game, like, the train of this game, like, pretty much all indie media, I think, like, the tracks were being laid down in front of the game as the train was rolling on, right?
Yeah. So, like, yeah, we were writing, we were just, getting in sprites and writing music, like, up until the day the game came out.
Yeah, like it really was, like, locked right before release, which I think...
And I mean, it is one of the few Homestuck things that we hit almost every single deadline, except one time, which was Steam's fault and not ours.
Yes. Hi, we are streaming this on Steam. Hi, Steam.
Hi.
We are criticizing your platform.
It was not your fault. It was miscommunication. It was both our fault. It was my fault too, Steam.
It's not you. It's me. Don't worry. Don't worry. For Valve to notice that we were talking about them on this stream, they'd have to hire an appropriate amount of content moderators.
Oh, that's true. That's true. How long can we talk shit?
So
we actually have to keep it together on this stream.
Yeah, it's true. We can't. I mean, although, like, I will say, like, this game doesn't keep it together, and Homestuck doesn't keep it together. Like, if you're not willing to engage with,
this game is rated M.
Yeah.
So if you don't like swears, and if you don't like just kind of gratuitous violence, maybe look away.
Yeah. So at the start of this route, Boldir, still a mysterious figure, just sort of sends you a message on your palm husk, which is
she hacks into the mainframe.
Yeah. So yes, she can just do that.
I think that Boldir kind of has spooky powers that most other characters don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not say that she hacked into your palm husk the same way that, say, Malik would.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was, the way that it was described in the text was strange. It was like, it wasn't like receiving another message. It just sort of was there.
Yeah, it was a disembodied text post.
And so you get coordinates to a cafe that first appeared. It's a girls-only cafe that first appered in Elward's route. It's like a lesbian bar, but they sell muffins.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. I want a lesbian coffee shop. Like, can somebody? This
is our next project.
Yeah, this is our next. So the follow up to the highly successful Hiveswap Friendsim is a real life lesbian coffee shop.
Oh, it's Ardata.
Yeah, your very first friend, Ardata, who if you play this game, she appears in the first volume.
Yeah, she's one of Andrew's one of Andrew's routes.
Yes. So Andrew Hussey wrote this character, and it is it's a very I don't even know.
Suffice it to say, you'll understand what you're in for.
Yeah, you sort of participate in the creation of a snuff film that involves the assembly of IKEA furniture, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. If you're into that, good.
Yeah. Oh.
You. Yeah, and our Dada sprites were done by Amber Cragg, who is a terrific artist.
Yeah. Amber Cragg works on Neocosmos, has also done storyboarding work on Steven Universe.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah. Our Dada, you and I love our Dadas. Yeah, was one of her original troll call bullet points probably Vriska?
Yeah.
Or not Vriska?
It was probably.
Okay, Elward was the one who was not Vriska.
Yeah. There were a number of Vriska adjacent characters in Friendsim.
And it turns out the only one who was actually Vriska is Ramele, and nothing was said about Vriska on Ramele's troll call.
Yeah. Right, like, I don't think that our data really has... Okay, the only thing that our data has in common with Vriska is that, like, they both live in a society really hard. and it messed them both up.
Yeah.
But I would say that our data's not dealing with it as well as Vriska did.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But, like, I will say, like, our data seems to enjoy living in the society a little more.
Yes, she does. Oh yeah, and then you find another amazing information transfer.
Yeah. Should you go? And so, you know, so the only gameplay in this game is that occasionally you get two choices, which I think is something that, again, fans of Homestuck will be familiar with. Like, a lot of times the, like, causality of the universe falls down to one seemingly meaningless binary choice.
Luck doesn't actually matter at all.
Yeah.
As we say.
Nice try, Catfisher.
Yeah.
Our data's anime laugh is so good.
Got a good laugh.
Yeah. And so each route, God, that's so funny. I love our data so much. So each route has has one, what I guess I would call an immediate bad end, right? Where
Instant death, we call it, I think.
Instant death by carrying groceries.
Yeah, we call it, when we were working on it, we called it the instant death ending. Yeah.
And
some of them you do die in. It's true. Some of them you do die.
Yeah.
But
it's all right. You have infinite lives.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Probably doesn't mean.
Yeah, right. It's not important. Don't worry about it too much. Vehicle theft, murder church, anime club. These are all things that actually happened in previous routes.
Okay, I guess. Enjoy yourself. And she just zaps on out of there.
Yoink. Oh, I love this background so much.
Oh, yeah. Okay, also shout out to Kim. I think it was Kim who did this.
Mm-hmm.
In like 2 hours. Because there was like a miscommunication and this background didn't get done. And I was like, hey, so where's the garden background? And everyone's like, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
So really quick, Kim dashed this out and it looks great.
Yeah. And this is another continuation of the spiral imagery in Homestuck, which is sort of often connected with, like, information or, like, being, like, storytelling, almost.
Yeah, also, I did think about the spirals, like the candy, the Juju spirals, and I also thought about, I went to college at the University of Maryland, and there was a spiral, I think they called it a meditation garden, and I used to walk around that a lot and think, which I guess was the point.
Mm-hmm.
I meditated. And that's what Voldir's doing in the center of this, I guess.
And you and you know, there's a little metaphor here where, like, instead of just following the path or stepping over the lines, the protagonist gently like treads to the middle without stepping on any of the lines and without disturbing the spiral.
Walking delicately through canon while not pushing it too much.
Yeah. Speak softly and carry a small narrative influence.
Exactly.
She just lives in a tree.
Okay, so that was a joke. Like, she was making fun of you.
Oh.
But everybody believed her. So now she literally lives in a tree.
This is news to me. I didn't know this was a joke. I was hoping she actually lived in a tree.
Like she smiles again, and you can't tell if she's messing around.
Yeah.
In fact, she's entirely unreadable. She is messing around. She messes with you about half the time. I think.
God, I love her.
Yeah.
I've immediately dropped all fucking. Oh, whoops.
Okay, you know what? We got a few. PG-13 movies, you got one.
Yeah, exactly. That's my one.
There it is. You used it.
I used it. I've dropped all pretense of being a neutral interviewer as soon as Boldir appeared on the screen because I just love her so much.
Oh, how did I get here? Yeah, I had so much fun with Boldir. I think, like, I mean, obviously she was supposed to be a secret agent, and her name, Boldir, is like Fox Mulder from the X-Files, so she was supposed to be like a secret agent type, but I kind of didn't do that because I thought that sounded boring.
Yeah.
So, because, like, that's basically just what Jude is in Hiveswap Act 1.
Yeah.
He's like the aliens are influencing my brain. And Boldir, so I kind of made her like a combination like Muse and Oracle instead.
It's really, really cool. It's like, I mean, you know, it takes a certain amount of confidence to say secret agent. That sounds boring. Nobody's ever told an interesting story about a secret agent before.
Listen. I was like, no, with this I can inject some bullshit philosophy garbage.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Did I say that? God, Boldir. Funny dumb alien robot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at this point Malik has, I think it was in the last volume that Malik thought you were a robot.
Yeah. in his quest to own your entire system.
Oh boy. This
is and I'm sorry to just flatter you live on stream in front of a bunch of viewers, but this is my favorite line on the entire game. This line of dialogue is so fucking good. Ah, god damn it.
I just wanted a chance to talk to you, someone who is so adrift in the swell of fate and the whims of the paradox.
And so, for those who aren't familiar, the entirety of Homestuck and all related media takes place in this sort of universal thread called paradox space.
Yeah, and it's kind of unclear what paradox space is, if it's like a space inside this game or a space that just encompasses everything this group of people do, or is it everything that's inside Homestuck canon? And it's like kind of like it's also almost got like godlike, it's almost like sentient in a way.
It has a will of its own.
Yeah.
Which is a sort of, it's both a comforting and terrifying concept. God.
No dirty jokes or anything. You just want friends.
Yeah, right. MSP Reader is just here to make friends. That's all.
Okay.
Definitely nothing happens at all in this game that is more than friendship.
There's a couple girls that MSP Reader's like, hey, but Boldir's not one of them.
Yeah. Which is nonsense, MSP Reader.
Come on.
Come on, she's great. She's wonderful. Reverse pickpocketing through astral projection.
Yep. Whoa. She faced.
I mean, that's some quick moves right there.
There's some really good glitches in for a while where they would just like phase up to the top and you just see their feet.
These sprites don't even have feet.
I know.
that is an interesting glitch.
About that one for a while.
Yeah. These sprites don't even have feet because that would be very dangerous.
Yeah.
I love this outfit so much.
Yeah, it's good.
At this point, the little, like, pickpocketing increase to 100 should appear on the screen.
Right.
More crime.
More crime.
The Hiveswap Friendsim. Be gay, do crime.
Be gay, do crimes. You just need... Yeah, you do rip your looks off all your friends.
Yeah, I'm surprised that nobody drew MSP Reader in Boldier's big coat and floppy hat.
Yeah, I guess they never get a hold of... Yeah, they never get her coat. They get some other looks, I guess. I guess you're in a bathrobe for, like, 6 volumes.
Yeah, you're in a bathrobe for, like, 6 volumes. You're in, Nervous Broad's dress from Problem Sleuth for a bunch of volumes.
Yeah, you're in that dress for a long time. And then, I think it's in the last, like, in Malik's route, it just gets... waterlogged, I think.
Yeah. Whose decision was it? By the way, so again, I always make it about Problem Sleuth because Nervous Broad's one of my favorite characters. Whose decision was it to make it her dress? Because I love that so much.
I think it was Bill. Or maybe not. No. It was Adrian.
Ah, that's good.
Adrian did the Chixie route. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Problem Sleuth, so I did not recognize the dress. Played Problem Sleuth, read Problem Sleuth. I'm a fake fan.
Well, I mean, again, we were talking about how, like Homestuck and Hiveswap Friendsim, like, they both blur the line between what's a story and what's a game, right? Like, what's what's a thing that you read versus a thing that you play. Like, Problem Sleuth actually has a number of moments where you do make 2 choices, and you get alternate paths based on them.
I've often said, like... I gotta go home and play Homestuck. Wait, no, that's wrong.
You're just a real gamer.
I'm a true gamer.
Yeah. We're all gamers here.
We're all deep down, we're all gamers.
Yeah. You start to think that maybe gamers are the most oppressed class of all.
Oh god. It's true. Sonic taught us that.
Yeah. Haha, 1.
It took me a second. I was like, what? Impressive. Yeah, she just keeps being vague.
Yeah. So there's this repetitive reference to this, like, compulsion to make friends. That the main character has in Hiveswap Friendsim, and it's most notable when it's not there, and that's part of what I love about this route, is like that it just feels more real. Like there's something about spending time with Boldir that just like there's something that, like, she just has an inherent substance to her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's MSPA Reader stops being kind of like a caricature and kind of becomes a person momentarily.
Yeah.
Thanks, Boldir.
You'll sleep when you're dead. That's a mood.
Yeah. If only. Yet another friend. I don't know why she was here. Still, maybe she tells you, I don't remember.
Of course I am fool.
Oh, right. My training montage joke.
This is just MSP Reader being a bad ally.
Yeah, yes. I mean, often.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boulder is like, what, 3 below Ardata? I guess that...
Oh, that look. I love that look.
Oh, yeah. That's like... Heard you talking shit.
Yeah.
Kind of look. Actually, it looks kind of like how I look in every baby picture.
you were done. You were immediately done.
I was done at age 1. So catty. I love this.
Yeah.
I say, as if I did not write it.
And so, for those who aren't familiar, and I'm just bringing this up apropos of nothing, there's an entire sort of relationship system on Alternia. There's like there's a quadripartite romance system, and one of the types of romance is based on mutual hatred, and a lot. And this, obviously, as you would expect, the shipping possibilities are endless.
Oh, the shipping.
And personally, these two, in a hate, these two, they're sort of malice-fueled interactions are one of my favorite ships in this game.
Yeah. Come on, wake up, America!
Yeah.
Yes.
Do crimes.
Yes, lots of crimes.
Why are you suddenly all up on me, peon?
God, I love Ardata.
Yeah.
So nasty.
Criminal euphoria.
That's the best kind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot that this happens.
Thank you for my rights for specifying that she is extremely buff and she's carrying 4 guns.
She got at least 4 guns in there. She's so ready. Yeah, I'm sure she's very solid. I imagine her built kind of the way I imagine Carcat built, which is just like very, like, just solid muscle. Though as we've learned, he's quite petite.
Yes. A little manlet.
Everyone's just deeply embarrassed that this public scene is happening.
Yeah, I mean, living on Alternia.
Yeah,
like,
it's just normal.
Right, like, teens just drop dead all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
God, I was watching a stream when this first came out. Everybody, like, the chat was going wild, like, no,
No.
my daughter, no,
Yeah.
no.
I love her. She can't die.
Yeah. Maybe help me out.
But yeah, there's like Homestuck. I think one of the most important like themes of it is fate. Like it's got a very Greek tragedy thing going on, especially with the addition of the epilogues recently.
Yeah, there's definitely fate, like the hand of fate at work. Even if sometimes the hand of fate is just you from a different timeline.
Like right, that's the thing, is like Homestuck is about fate, but they also, like, it's about will as well, right? Like it's a complex intersection of fate and free will. Like the things that are fated to happen because somebody wants them to. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that was wild. The way that I described this was not the way it got drawn at all, but I like this so much better.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
Fierce yet gentle.
This is so funny because that's exactly what fans of anything are like. Like, oh, who cares about death? But romance?
Yeah. Trolls are obsessed with romance. Trolls love romance.
Yeah. Again, it's like Tumblr.
Yeah, they're teens. They are. Oh,
Didn't die.
hi. So cute.
And so
Day.
yeah. So I'm gonna leave the other bad end a secret. You can buy this volume on the Steam store for just every volume's just 99 cents. And you know, the other volume, I think that's the one where things like really get real.
Yeah. Oh, the other end, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want just kind of like philosophical bloviating, definitely play the other end.
And as a big fan of philosophical bloviating, I'm all here for it. And let me think about what else there is to go over here. You know, overall, like, Friendsim was one of my, you know, I'm an avid player of independent games. I try to keep up as much as I can with new indie releases, especially ones with cool narratives. And Hiveswap Friendsim was one of my, like, 3 favorite games of the year last year. And it was up there with, like, Return of the Obra Dinn for me. I think, you know, it's, even if you're not a diehard Homestuck fan, it's something worth looking into. Not only are its messages and themes highly relevant to those of us existing online in 2019, there's also some real important and I would say, like, shockingly essential stuff. Like, it's so very silly sometimes. But then sometimes it just gets real with you about, like, what do you do when you live under an oppressive regime? What do you do when the world seems hopeless? And the answer in Hiveswap Friendsim is the one core gameplay loop, which is you forge social bonds. You become closer with the people around you. You find solidarity in spite of the horror that surrounds you. It's possible to do that. It's possible to not give up on the idea that friendship, that the social bonds that we form can save us from any kind of hell. And, you know, it does that while still making you laugh, giving you all sorts of fun stuff, showing you clowns and making you go, ugh, gross sometimes.
I like those 2 selling points, showing you clowns and making you gross.
Yeah.
That's what Homestuck is.
Yeah, it is. Like, fundamentally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you think, it shows you clowns, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's just how life is. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah. And so, you know, Hiveswap, you can start with Hiveswap Friendsim. You can start with Hiveswap Act 1, which is also being shown off during this stream block. Or you can start by going to Homestuck.com and reading page 1 of Homestuck. There's multiple options to sort of start engaging with this property, and all of them are good, and all of them will hold your hand enough as you come in. And then it will, like, you know, use the hand that it's holding to, like, judo throw you into a pit full of spikes.
You'll love it, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's sometimes it's good to have media that is actively fighting against you. And so for you, like, what was your main, you know, takeaway from this Friendsim project?
I mean, I'd never collaborated with people before, and this was really incredible. It made me realize that I always want to collaborate with people because it's so much fun, and you you know, you get to share all the harrowing garbage that comes with creating something. And it kind of taught me that I actually can do this. Like, before this, writing for a video game was just kind of a pipe dream. I never thought I thought I was going to write novels. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, wait, I can do this. Awesome. I did it, in fact. So that was quite an experience.
Yeah, and that's something that's always been inspiring to me about this cultural space. Is the origin of MS Paint Adventures was just some guy posting silly stick figure comics on forums, right? And it turns out you don't need to actually ask someone permission to make stuff. You can just do it. And I think that Friendsim is one of those stories that makes you leave with, the inspiration to go and make your own stuff. And it's certainly like something that's inspired me to do the same. So thank you very much for joining us for this chat about Hiveswap Friendsim. Again, I'm Kate Mitchell. I host a podcast about Homestuck called The Perfectly Generic Podcast, which you can find wherever you get those. You can find me on Twitter at Gambleignant8. Aysha, where can folks find you?
I am on Twitter at Aysha U Farah, and I have a website, AyshaUFarah.com. So yeah, come say hi.
All right. And you can find Homestuck at Homestuck.com. You can find What Pumpkin Games at WhatPumpkin.com.
There's an official Homestuck Twitter, just at Homestuck.
Yeah, you can find Homestuck at Homestuck.
Mostly shit posts, but
I mean,
what else would
yeah, right, exactly. You can get there's occasional stirrings of activity like happened before this Act 2 announcement.
Right.
And thank you so much to What Pumpkin for, having me on to interview you about this game that I love so much. And thanks to Fellow Traveler and Steam for hosting this event. Enjoy LudoNarraCon.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a great rest of your stream.